Look.
How does that look?
Go that way. Yeah, so I'm more. Make sure you get both of us in the shot, because if you're sitting right here.
Well, move to the left then. Move to the left more. And then sit right next to you.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Hi. I'm here.
I'm here.
With Andy.
Wait, we have to. Wait.
What?
Ready? Clap on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Hi.
So we're here today with Andy Mock. We're going to talk about really anything that comes out of our brains.
Because we're adults.
We're adults.
We can do what we want.
We can do whatever we want. So if you haven't,
The camera's so hostile.
I have to, because like
you dropped your sick Marvin at
yes,
on Instagram.
Amanda, she's literally great. Thank you.
In the description down below.
I will. I definitely will, because it's like people have to do their art. You have to keep doing art. If you have a niche or something, just fucking do it.
Have your friends promote you.
Yes, and if they don't promote you, it's because they're trying to stop
They're
your
not
bag.
real ones.
They're you go. So how do we start this?
How do we start it? We can talk about art. We
We can talk art.
We
Okay.
can start with that.
So art to me, it's something where people can just show however they feel. So like if you're feeling sad or mad or whatever, you could literally do anything to make you understand it, to make you feel your emotion. Like if you could make music, you could like write a song, you could write a poem, you could draw, you could take even photography. Sometimes you could go take a photo. Like it's like
Makes you feel a certain emotion.
a certain emotion, and
that's all music is though. Like specific. I'm talking about music specifically,
okay.
but that's just because where my brain goes immediately. Like, but art in general is just that's what it's like. If you're not like trying to reach somebody or like trying to do something to like get something out and make people feel a certain way, even if it's like the simplest of feelings, like people shit on EDM or just like certain types of music because it's like, oh, that's not real music, it's just like some random beat that like you can dance to. It's like, well, if you're gonna write about like honest emotions and portray things to like make people relate to you, like you're gonna want to write about the dancing sometimes because like you're gonna want to have a good time. So I have no hate against like. It's art's subjective for sure, but don't hate on people for liking things. Like that's so shitty to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time on hating on something that you could use your time to like something.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like there's something like there's like you're it's like don't hate on like people liking EDM music. Yeah, at first I thought of that like that. Oh, that's not really music, but it is. It's like that sounds. That sound is a music depending on, and also it's a pattern, right?
Yeah.
And then like don't waste your time on hating. Like if you don't like EDM, don't listen to it. Or if you don't like if you don't like rock, or like sometimes I used to hate on country. I'm like, hey, but people like country. Who cares?
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna listen.
Country like the middle of the country loves country music, and it's the reason it makes a lot of money. But
and it does, and also like that's what they like, and that's what they like. Now I don't like country, but I'm not gonna go listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the internet like that. Like it's so easy to like have people just hate on one specific thing and act like they're so cool because they don't like that one thing, and it's just like, hey, don't hate on people for liking things. That's just not cool.
Yeah.
If you wanna criticize something like a piece of art for something, then do that. But like if you're not gonna say anything that isn't like constructive or like can help somebody understand like why like your perspective at all, then why are you starting an argument over
there you
art?
go, cause yeah,
something that's subjective. You know what I mean?
Because it's all about like perceiving something. So you perceive one way something, someone else like you may love one thing and the other person might hate. Like you say, hate and love, fine line. Like it's a kind of like the same.
Yeah, it's not really black and white. There's sort of there's like you can be a dick to somebody for not liking something in such a passive aggressive way, especially online.
Oh my god, it's so easy. And online people are more stronger bullies because they're not gonna do it in person. They're not gonna say all those things because the minute they're in person, because it's like it's all in their head. Like usually the internet is all in your head. Like you're just typing and you're like, haha, I said this person's this. All like.
It's like the bully on the playground. Like when the bully on the playground goes up to someone and pushes a little kid and he falls over and he sees the kid crying, he's like, oh, that doesn't feel good. Like I don't like getting hurt. But like on the internet, you can just do that. Like you can just emotionally abuse people and then not have the repercussions.
Zero repercussions.
Just like actual sociopath behavior.
Literally, and then it's all about like you literally have a shield. It's like a face, it's like a mask. You have a mask. The internet gives you like a certain mask to kind of like. Do whatever you want, say whatever you want, but like, you don't use it for bad.
That's why I feel like that's why like anyone who like tries to put their art out on the internet, like I have no hate for it, and I just have 100% respect for it because like you're opening some of the most.
The camera died, but I'm gonna say straight voice only.
All right,
I just totally forgot to charge it.
Do you have another battery?
I could look.
All right, while Marvin's looking for a battery, I'm gonna tell you a quick story to interrupt the conversation real quick. Once upon a time, there was this little boy who lived in the forest, and he had a grandma who lived on the other side of the forest. This isn't Red Riding Hood, and he wanted to go see his grandma, so he took his bike and he was biking through the woods, you know, as you do, and he hits this dead body, and he's like, oh shit, that's a deceased human. So he calls the cops, and the cops show up, and they're like, yo, why'd you kill this guy? And he was like, what? I didn't kill anybody. I just found this dead body. And then they arrest him, and they take him to jail, and he's like, I was going to my grandma's house, and I just found this dead body. Can I just call my grandma, and we can like clear this up because I did not kill this guy. And then he calls his grandma, and his grandma's like, "No, yeah, he totally killed him." And he's like, "Grandma, what's good? What are you talking about?" And then and now Marvin's setting up his phone. I don't know where the story's going. So. Hi, we're back on the iPhone. What's up?
Oh, you were doing that for the clicking.
Yeah.
No, good. So what happened to this boy?
So I don't know.
You can see us in the back of the mirror.
Yeah. There's a mirror behind the camera, so we can watch. That's actually really convenient. Anyways, forget this lame story. We were talking about the internet.
I was listening to the story. What happened to it?
I don't know. I don't know how to end it. Anyway, he calls his grandma, and his grandma's like, "Yo, fuck you. You were never nice to me. Anyway, you said my lasagna was trash."
Fuck your
And
lasagna.
she doesn't bail him out of jail, and he goes to jail forever.
Wow, and he goes to jail, and now he became Peter Parker. And then
that's a great transition. We're like have these bullet points like, oh, here are things we want to talk about. How do we reach it? It's like, and then the boy became Peter Parker. Okay.
And then superheroes. So what superhero would you be?
Oh my God, Peter Parker. I'd be Spiderman.
Spiderman? Okay.
Growing
okay.
Up, Spiderman. I was a nerdy, skinny kid with glasses growing up in New York.
Nope.
Like Peter Parker was my shit. You know, like Spiderman was my shit.
Okay. Me, I always Batman. For some reason, Batman. But I also like Cyborg. Oh my God, Cyborg.
Cool.
Cause it's like the idea of like taking your brain and like just bringing technology and then just adding technology to it, enhancing your like abilities. Like
imagine just being able to Google shit by thinking. Like that's what you could do. Like
literally, and like
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and then always being the undermined one. And so the Batman, everyone was like, "Oh, Batman has no powers." But it's like Batman is smart. Like he could literally like the way he like outplay Bane and outplay like a lot of other big heroes.
Those movies are great. Yeah, Batman is super cool because it's like, yeah, he's just a dude, but he's still like one of the strongest members of the Justice League.
Yes.
He has plans to kill everybody just in case they go rogue. Like, there's a thing in the comics where he literally has plans to take down each member of the Justice League, and they find like the voice tapes of him like saying how he would like kill them. Like he's like, just in case they go rogue. Like he said, guys, look, I'm just being cautious. Like,
precautions.
No hard feelings. Like. We're just like colleagues in the workplace, you know what I mean? Like,
and then the Spider-Man, just a good kid,
Peter Parker.
Like,
yeah, that's the core of the character. Is like he's just a good kid who.
So do you think when they were writing these characters, do they thought about a certain way? Like how do they think? Like, what do you think? Like, oh, I mean, they make this person a good person and they act this way. Like,
well, like I feel like superheroes are just like trying to be. Like they started off as role models, right? Like Superman started off as like the
Captain America man. As well.
Yeah, exactly. Just like people. That's why people call like Cap a Boy Scout, but like he's not like he is sort of a Boy Scout, but he's a good dude. He's not. Like
he lame. He was didn't he start off like really skinny?
Yeah,
like
he's just random like scrawny little dude from Brooklyn.
From
became
Brooklyn.
A super soldier. Brooklyn. I love that there's a scene in Civil War where like Spider-Man meets Cap for the first time and he's like. Kid, where are you from? And he's like, Queens. And he's like, oh, I'm from Brooklyn, cool. And like while they're fighting, like it's like the best scene in that movie.
Was that in Civil?
It's in Civil War.
Oh.
He steals a shield. Like Spider-Man jumps over him and steals a shield.
Is that the one they're fighting in the outside?
Yeah, in the airport. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. They were in the middle of fighting each other. Yeah, you're right. I'm like thinking, I'm like, when would this happen? When did this happen?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, I love that movie. But
Bro,
that's the thing
movie.
About like those characters is like I feel like they start off as role models and then you just start like making them as relatable as possible so like kids and people reading them and like watching them it's
kind of relate and so like no one really has superheroes, like no one has like powers, so like you kind of make them like relatable,
so they're interesting to read about. Yeah, that's like
Stan Lee, bro.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. His
Can't wait to
vision.
meet you one day.
Yes, because his writing, the way he was. I think the majority of his things came from him. Like all the like all his kind of comes from him because he just applied himself.
He when writing, especially when writing Spider-Man, he was like, I just wanted it to like superheroes were becoming too perfect, and he wanted a flawed superhero you could relate to. So he said like, I made Peter Parker because like he's the guy where like things don't go right for him, but like
never. Oh my god!
Through everything, he like perseveres. Like with great power comes great responsibility. Like just that line is like I feel like in the minds of so many kids like growing up, and I feel like that it just encourages people to be good people. So it's like that's why I like the character. It's just like be a good person, especially if you have power, and that's a sort of a thing you never really think about. Like if you have power, like you have a responsibility to not manipulate people with that power. Because Peter Parker could beat he could beat the fuck out of everybody, but
he could destroy anyone. He literally even other people were shocked whenever like even like Tony was trying to undermine him and undercut him, and then they were like, "Yo, come on, like I'm just trying to be a cool." He was like, "Yo, that scene of him like looking at him crying,
I just want to be like you."
Yeah. And I was like, "No." I was bro. When I tell you, I was like, "No."
That movie's so sad. It's so good. Yeah, Homecoming was like it was a really good interpretation of like there's a comic line called The Ultimate Spider-Man, and it felt just like that. You should read that. I think you'll really enjoy it because it started in like 2000, like when
2000
right before the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire came out. So like that's when it was like
Tobey Maguire. That's a whole another good series.
Yeah, don't even get me. We can talk about Spider-Man forever, but yeah. In the early 2000s, Ultimate Spider-Man started, and it was like, what if he was a fucking millennial? He had like a cell phone. He was like a kid now, or like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But like, it's really good.
Okay, where do you usually read them, online or like in?
You can find. I'll send you some stuff.
Okay, please.
There's
he has good art too. Like, don't you draw like Spider-Man sometimes? You have those. You have to still do them again.
I want to write. I wanted to make a Spider-Man comic. Like I was drawing. I just started drawing Spider-Man because he's my favorite character, and just started getting back into art again.
Okay,
but I wanted to make a fan comic, but it's a lot of work. I got time.
See, it takes time. Things in general, guys. Things take time.
Mm-hmm.
Things you could do it overnight, but like, add your little sections to it. What's another? Oh my god.
Spider-Man is like I could talk about it for hours, and it's like one of those things where my brain will fixate on it forever.
Because it's something you like. So when you can tell when someone you like something because it's like you're like, oh my god, this.
I just want to talk about this forever.
There's some like ideas flowing through it.
Mm-hmm. So why do you like Batman so much? Like, because he's the most like. He's an underdog, or not underdog, but he's just like the strongest.
Underdog too, and also how like, I guess it's kind of like Peter Parker in a way. Like he could have used his power, but like Bruce Wayne came from a nice background, all that, and like he decided to leave that life a little bit to go train and to go do all that, and then he comes back and like. And that was the whole thing with this the whole thing with the system, how the system itself is fucked up, and the killer who killed his parents got away.
Yeah.
And not even he had a moment where he could have killed them, but he's like, no, like it's not even the person's fault, it's the system allowing there's something where like he could have just stayed rich and like or do whatever, but he decided, you know what, let me throw that life and become the hero that people deserve.
Yeah.
And like he literally went around and even helping doing things and other people, he was like literally putting his like resources into that. Like,
yeah, he had a vision and was like, I'm gonna dress up as a bat and punch
people. Like at first people were like, aha, but like it was, and he actually did it, and like it was so good. The way he like ran around, jumping around. I like really like the car, like the Batmobile. Oh my god,
that is like
and Heath Ledger, and then like oh my god,
Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Oh my god, this movie.
So I'm into a lot of films. So the way they even directed that. With the lighting, everything, like they just made it so dark and sinister, and like it was just, and then also the sounds of it, like you know how like when Joker in the beginning, and also like with Bane. Remember the third movie with Bane was like destroying the scenery, and
like the drums, the chants.
It was such like a the way they just produced it.
Hans Zimmer, like and Christopher Nolan, like they worked together on that entire trilogy, like. They know how to make a soundscape that like the themes for the Joker, like the violin that just keeps rising. It's like terrifying. It's like, oh my god, when you hear it, you just get on edge, and then he comes on screen and you're just like, this guy's fucking terrifying.
Because at first they introduced him with just showing a card. No, this first movie it's a card. Like it kind of like like a little Joker, but then like the way Heath Ledger just like, because that's also method acting is good and fun, but like he was really in the character. And then when they said, that's another thing, like when you're in the set, those actors, they get it, like they have to act like that person throughout the set, moving around. And he said the passion, like you see, it's all about the passion they put into that.
He really cared about the performance because like he knew like he didn't want to just redo like Mark Hamill's Joker from like the cartoon or like Jack Nicholson from the.
No, he did his own.
He just wanted to do his own thing, and like he was always that sort of actor. But
again, he locked himself in some rooms and like did. Well, it's like that's kind of scary, but it's like he really went. He was in it.
So an artist who can like commit to their craft like that is like respectable in any way, even like. Obviously, if it's to their downfall, no. But I don't really think the Joker did that to him. I think there was just like other things.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't just people always like to say that like him playing the Joker like drove him crazy, but it's like
there was a lot of other. It's like another thing. It's like he had a lot of talent and he saw a lot of things. He just had a lot in his head. Like he also was he had drug issues.
Yeah.
It's like Robin Williams. It's like kind of sad how like big legends just end up like.
Yeah.
Not dying, but it's more like I don't know.
Creative
it's like
minds are the most tormented. It's sad, but like.
But there's ways to yeah.
It's because the pressure of the industry, pressure of just like being in the public eye all the time, stuff like that is hard to deal with.
Yeah, because some now the people look at you as like an object. They look at you as like. They don't look at you as person anymore. Where like those people like some people, you know how people like they have the rich cars, but, like they have all those money, but at the end of it, they're still human. They just have that ability because they put their creative. You see, they put their mind out there.
Yeah, they have the ability to do it because they're a creative person. That's another thing. It's like if you're putting your heart and soul into like a performance or something, and then someone on the end is just like, "Yo, you're not the Joker that I remember. You're like, this is awful. This isn't the Joker. Like what? Like who? Heath Ledger's the Joker. That's what everyone said. Like the fuck you cast the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You as the Joker. Like what? Like A Knight's Tale. Like that Heath Ledger. What? Like but then like it's like
and like everyone
dude pulled it off.
He pulled it off.
He did his own shit.
He did his own shit, and also it made it. He kind of adapted to the script.
Yeah.
Like some actors, they try to like I would tell you, like one Tom Cruise. Like any movie you watch him, he's Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
It's like there's always time you can see he's always not like he's like the character playing.
It's so true.
Same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like of course it took him a while to understand it, but it's like you have to morph yourself.
Yeah. Leo, I think recently has been able to.
The last one was The Witcher, or not The Witcher. It was like. I forgot. He won his first Oscar for that.
Oh, The Revenant.
Revenant. So the reason why he did it because he literally jumped out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, he was.
Of course, he deserves him a long time ago, but that's a whole nother. See, that also doesn't even show your art. There's some artists who have never won a Grammy, will never won an Oscar, and they're
still respected.
Respected. Because again, the industry sometimes they blackball certain artists. They purposely because sometimes. In that industry, it's nice and all, but like if you don't do a favor for one person, like okay, you don't do it for me, okay, then now you can't. Now for the next 3 years, you cannot do it because I own all of this part. I'm like,
that's insane. Like it sucks when people. Oh, I hate like jealous people, especially like when it comes to art and making money off art, because it's like you're making money off people's like fucking passion. Like,
and then there's some people who like see the potential that they don't even like want to put near or go. I'm like, why? Because you're just. Like who cares?
Greedy.
Like you're just greed of human skills or human
making money off art is it sucks that it's like, oh man, there are certain people that are just out for like the money part.
You can tell though.
Obviously, like
you can tell
business, but you can definitely tell who you should and should not be working with like in the industry. Just feel it. It's like,
and you can tell if they're artificial, or you can tell they're just people who aren't. They're like they're not being them. Like there's some artists who has everything written for them, which is fine. There's no judging that. But you can depending on how you look at art, you can tell. Okay, this is not really.
It's not you. Yeah, you can.
Like there's some rappers who talk about being broke and all that, but they came off really rich from the start. I'm like, you never were really broke.
Oh, I love people that are like started from the bottom. Now Drake Graham, did not start from the bottom. I mean, like he started from the bottom.
He did. But, he focused on himself and like he pushed him. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not just showing his work.
No, not fucking with. I'm gonna get so much hate for saying that. No. But here's the thing. It's like, listen, like you like certain rappers and shit. It's like you can talk about being as hard as fuck as you want, but it's like. Now that you are rich, it's like you like write about some shit that actually matters to you. Now I get you're still trying to like
to be relatable,
relatable or like get it like.
But there's ways to be relatable,
to, like, the lifestyle they escaped or whatever. Or like, but bro, if you're trying to like just write honest music, like you can't be like, yeah, I got a trap still. It's like you got a mansion, bro.
You got a
like,
mansion.
What do you mean?
Like if you have a trap, it's because you decided to stay in a trap.
Yeah.
That's on.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
JK.
No, it's true though. Some people have that mindset for like even like fucking like our kids who like.
Well, depending if you're comfortable. There's some people who are comfortable, and like that means if you're happy and comfortable and content with your life, you win in life. It's all about that. But if you're not, okay, then go do more.
Yeah.
Don't sit and complain.
Don't sit and complain, especially if you're like making money off of lying about like shit. Like I don't know.
There you go.
This is a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's one other thing. How the internet, because the internet now you could portray different. You literally. There's some people who like you look at them like there's some people like they look normal but they're a furry person online. I'm like what? Or like like you know literally you can tell some people.
You're
like,
a furry? What?
No, like there's like, literally I met this one person. They were like I thought I'm not saying they're not normal, but I'm saying as like then the minute online I was like seeing their fur. I'm like I did not see that in person. It's like you like a minute. It's like you can see the person's true or this person's not depending on how you live it. Like,
yeah, that's honestly. You do that? Oh my god! I sound like a squeaky.
Honestly,
I sound like a squeaky toy. My voice just fucking cracked.
You're inner child, bro.
No, I'm just going through puberty. I'm 21.
I get. No, there's two puberties. There's the first one, and then the second one is in like adulthood, depending on how if you get mature or not. And if you do get mature, then you go through the.
Going through puberty in my 20s again. Sounds like a great song title.
Write it down. Write it down.
That's so funny. Yeah, the internet is crazy though. You can really. There's some people where like you see them online and they're like, this is that meme that's like fucking Twitter famous people in public and it's like he's sitting in the corner just like on his phone and it's just
bro,
like.
It's
you ever think about that, but it's kind of true. Like,
no, but like I see that sometimes how like certain people are like outgoing on the internet, which I love it, but then in person they're like.
And there's nothing wrong with being shy, but like it's just funny to see how like the internet like without like a physical appearance.
Because it's like if you didn't, it's like sometimes it's like if you didn't want to go out, then stay home and stay on your phone. It's one of those things where like when I go out with certain people or people stay on their phone. I'm like, this is why you answering people. That's fine. But there's little moments for that.
Yeah.
But then some people you see they stay the whole time
because they live on the internet. Like
or they just can't be in their thoughts, so like that's a distraction. So when they're in people involving talking to others, they get like.
Yeah, they can't. Especially when like you notice when you start talking about some real shit or even just like some semi like personal emotional shit, like people pick up their phones, like they need something to look at, like they don't want to like talk about things,
and it's like because they don't want to be vulnerable, but I don't like the best way like.
But then they're vulnerable online in front of millions of people, just like tweeting random shit, like damn my pussy hurt today, like
oh yeah, and I'm like what, and it's like but you won't say that to the person next to you, which is
there's nothing wrong with doing that shit, like if you're at home and like or like
see, that's different. A funny tweet,
but if you're online all the time and you're like spilling your guts to people and then like just and then in person you can't talk about
in person you can't talk or like yeah but it takes people learn.
I don't think like unless you're talking to actual people I feel like tweeting and like especially like spam posting is like there's like a weird like mental thing where you don't get anything out, you don't work anything out because it's not a conversation, you're making a post and like a lot of the time people are uncomfortable to interact with posts that are like people like just randomly like dumping shit and it's like how do we deal with this because like
because now you could dump so
you can dump whatever you want on the internet.
It took me to the point where you could do spam. Like it's like
just because you have the option to just immediately connect with millions of people doesn't
like back then like it used to be hard to connect. People just stayed home or they went out to actually. But now it's like because of the it's your right. Like the internet, you could literally make a business online. You can literally stay home and create a multi.
Pros and cons to that shit. It's kind of crazy.
Well, depending as you use it as a skill. Like I use it as a tool instead of like. Bringing it down instead.
That's the difference. Is do you use this as like a thing to like? Are you using the internet or is it using you? Shit.
Are you using the internet or is it using you? Honestly,
make that a Frank song.
Frank Ocean, call them.
Someone call Tyler.
But we're here. We're here. We're doing it for you guys.
Song dropping soon.
Yes.
Here's a sneak peek of that one verse that I wrote. Right,
tell you later.
That's all you get.
Bro, stop. You're funny.
Stop. You're funny.
T.
That's the T.
T.
That's the chorus melody.
Yeah.
Using the internet as a tool or living there, it's dangerous.
Because now we live in the physical, we live in the internet world, and we live in our brain world. So it's like there's like now a third like.
Fourth dimension.
Now the internet has created it created like a whole new like, which is good, but like I don't know. Even the government, even people are like being, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, the social contract is falling apart at the seams because now that you have the ability to do anything from your
people
phone.
could you could literally call an Uber, food, everything. So people sometimes
stay inside forever.
People stay on their like it's like, but if that also creates bad, and then you're just losing your.
There's like it's a weird
pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Depending on how you feel mentally, because if you feel good about yourself, then the phone is like, oh, like
it's a great thing to like be able to use it, but you don't need it. You're like, this sounds like some pretentious shit. It'd be like, get off your phone, sheeple, but like you can use your phones for whatever you want. No, it's just a matter of like mentally if you're what you're using it for. Just be careful.
Yeah, and also it's on you 24/7, so it's like it's not gonna disappear. So it's like, and also if you're in the moment, and it's like all about being in the moment. Some people are not. Like you can tell people are too much in like. If you're out with friends and you barely see them, hang out with them, and the minute the quiet zone goes in, just go on your phone, or like that's what I see it as. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. This sounds like, yeah, it's weird. It's a hard like thing to.
The internet.
The internet is just such a weird thing because it's not going away. Our phones aren't going away. It's either gonna just like evolve forever until we live in a robot apocalypse, or everything's gonna crash and we're gonna go back to like medieval times. Then we're gonna kill each other with like fucking baseball bats.
Honestly, back then that used to be cool. It used to be not less worries.
Back in the day, you just kill people who didn't like you.
That's it. And then you live on. There was more land. There was more food. The environment was cleaner.
Everyone was just like, "Yo, this is like my sheep, and if you like come over here, I'll shoot you.
That's it.
I'll stab you with."
How do you tell how long have we done? How long have we?
You can change it to see the time here. An hour and 25.
No way.
No way.
No. We did not talk for an hour.
We already been talking for an hour?
No. There's no way. An hour.
There's absolutely no way.
No, because it's usually only 30 minutes. These things. So how the part? But wait,
part 3. I don't know how an hour and a half passed, but we really did that.
That was a good show.
That was a good show.
Wait.
Be careful of the internet. No.
Be careful of the internet. Be careful of the internet. Be careful of the internet.
I love the theme of this went from like art to like
music to superheroes,
like internet
medieval times. I feel like we have so much to say. But good night, guys.
All right, good night. That's